We're going to be taking a trip down memory lane today, guys. Hey, what's up? How are we today? It's Mebby, and odds are, if you were on the internet from the years of 2016 to 2020, you had a Hamilton phase. And if you didn't, I am so happy for you. I was trying to figure out what to film as a video today, and I was mulling it over and I was like, what are some embarrassing things we used to do on the internet? And then I thought of what are embarrassing things I used to do in my life. And then it hit me like a brick. I'm currently going through my annual Hamilton phase where I just listen to the soundtrack for a week for no reason at all, and then realize even though it's been 8 years, I still remember every single lyric. Normal stuff. And while I listen to the music, I start remembering all the things on the internet that were just blowing up about Hamilton and how weird they could be. And I also remember just how big Hamilton became in our culture. And so in today's video, I just thought it'd be interesting to revisit all of the fun stuff the Hamilton fandom got up to. It was a blast. I was 11. I have a few basic points and iconic moments that I want to go back to and help us all remember. But first, if you live under a rock and somehow don't know what Hamilton is, let me give you a brief little introduction to that. Hamilton is a musical about the founding fathers of America, specifically the founding father, Alexander Hamilton. It was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also casted himself as the lead role because why wouldn't he? And Lin-Manuel Miranda is most well known for Hamilton, but he's also known for so much. He's honestly an amazing composer and music writer. Like, although there's a common trend right now of everyone trying to make kids' music sound like Lin-Manuel Miranda, only Lin-Manuel Miranda can do it. And when he does do it, he eats. Okay, he eats. No matter how cringe millennial he is, I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, one year, Lin-Manuel Miranda sat in a hammock and read a biography about Alexander Hamilton. And Lin-Manuel Miranda was like, oh my God, this is amazing. He has such an interesting story. There's so much depth. There's so many people involved. I'm gonna write a musical about it. Which is honestly, yeah, that's the most normal thing to do when you hear an interesting story about someone. Like, musical, now. The musical took him 7 years to write, and I believe it was put on Broadway in 2015, which is when everybody got their hands on it, and it all spiraled from there. Hamilton is primarily a rap musical, which helped it stand out, and almost the entirety of the cast was POCs, except for King George, for obvious reasons, which made it a really cool piece of media. There was so much to dissect about it and so much to learn from it. And the fact that POCs were now representing this really important thing in American culture, it was just a really cool move for their team to do. And when I say this really big thing in American culture, I'm not referring to the Revolutionary War. I mean, I am, but in its musical format. I'm referring to Hamilton the musical itself. This thing had this country in a grip. It didn't only have this country in a grip, it had the world in the palm of its hand. And the world was being crushed by Hamilton. And although we call people chronically online now, and we call people chronically online obviously in like 2020 and stuff, these years, 2015 and 2016, were chronically online, okay? This was peak YouTube. This was not peak, but peak Tumblr. Like, these bitches be on their laptops, okay? And this was not some fast trend that happened to grow a fandom all of a sudden. No, this fandom, I want to say, lasted until 2018. I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna say it, I was a theater kid, if that wasn't blatantly obvious before. But if you walk into a community theater audition, you see people in Hamilton merch. You will see it. It was like a disease that was infecting everyone. It's a reoccurring thing. It's like when you get mono and then you have like reoccurring mono randomly throughout the rest of your life. That's what Hamilton is. You have one big spurt of Hamilton disease, and then annually you'll just get a Hamilton all of a sudden, and you realize how bomb it is. But also you have to remember all the horrible things it created. And you know what? I know you guys all are waiting for it. I'm just gonna come out and say it, such as Thomas Jefferson Miku binder. It's not that bad. I can't start out by saying that. It's not that bad until you realize Thomas Jefferson, the founding father. I get it that they're characters in the musical, but they're also not. So, and that's really where a lot of the problems and the weird stuff with the Hamilton fandom started, because honestly, if it weren't based on real people and actual historical events, the way the fandom would be acting would be like pretty standard and normal. But because these indeed were old white men who founded our country, sometimes when you ship them, it makes it a little odd, especially when one of them killed the other. But anyway, with all that being said, let's get into some videos to show you my video proof of how weird this fandom got. This isn't a fandom based video, but this is just like an introduction to what you are going to have to expect from this video.
Hampton at the Constitutional Convention. I was chosen for the Constitutional Convention. There's a New York junior delegate.
Now what I'm gonna say might sound indelicate. He goes and proposes his own form of government. What? His own plan for a new form of government. What? He talks for 6 hours. The convention is lit. Bright young man. Yo, who the F is this? The hardest thing about this video is going to be me trying not to break into song multiple times. I'm just gonna go right into it with this one. I also just like this trend on TikTok in general. It's so cute, I love it, and whenever I'm included in them, I do almost shed a tear. But again, going into this, Founding Fathers.
I'm B1 and I'm tons of fun. I'm B2, I wanna get with you. I'm B3, wanna be with me.
I'm B4 and I'll make you soar.
I'm B5, I make you feel alive. I'm B6, I'll pick up sticks.
Is that-
I'm B7, I'll take you to heaven. I'm B8 and I am great. I'm B9 and I'm so fine. I'm B10, I remember when.
I'm B11, I'm in love with B7.
I'm B12 and word. Boys 12.
I'm gonna say it, George Washington being 12 actually makes a lot of sense. But also, I didn't realize it before. I think B2, Anthony Ramos, playing Philip, because John Lawrence is in later on in the compilation. He's like a minor for most of the musical. Also, if you didn't already know and you were wondering why were some people in that twice, it's because they're separated between Act 1 and Act 2. In Act 1, John Lawrence, Lafayette, Hercules Mulligan, and Peggy are then turned into different characters. Not like turned into, but like the actors remain the same, but the characters change. So like Lafayette is Jefferson. Lafayette is Jefferson. Hercules is Madison. John Lawrence is Philip. Which, can we talk about how that's kind of weird for a second? John Lawrence, which was Hamilton's bi-cry lover. I don't know how else to describe it. Like in real life and in this musical, there was some tension there. They had some explicit conversations. Anyway, can we talk about how the actor for John Lawrence, Hamilton's lover, then went on to play Hamilton's son in the next act? Is that a little weird to anyone else? Speaking of which, hold up, pause. I blocked this out of my memory, but I was violently reminded of it when I was looking for footage today. Oh my god, there's this AU that was really popular, and if you don't know what that means, that's like alternate universe. Anyway, there was this like AU that was really popular. I'm just gonna show you this and then explain it.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda.
Oh my god, I have to find the photo evidence. Editing Mebby, put the photo evidence here. Please. There is an AU of John Lawrence, Hamilton's lover, who dies at the very end of Act 2, is like the guardian angel of Philip, who he plays, because they're like look the same, because they're the same people technically, but they're not the same people. And then there's like reincarnation stuff, but he's also a ghost, but he's also the guardian angel. Like, I don't even, don't get me wrong, I f***ed with that AU when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, this goes hard, but I blocked that out of my memory until today. I saw that video and I was like, oh my god. But some of the photos are so cute. It is actually like a cute AU, but at the same time, why did we come up with that? Also, when I'm saying John Lawrence was his lover, again, that's not like a confirmed thing. They had a few little flirty chemistry bits in the background of the musical, but like in real life, they wrote some explicit letters to each other, and that's why I'm calling them lovers. But they were really good friends. They were just the best of buds, you know how it is. Also, a crucial part of this fandom was the cast. The cast was amazing, absolutely stacked. And like, they were like such an important part of my childhood. Like my childhood was Hamilton. I don't know, guys, I got into Hamilton the summer before 6th grade. Bad decision. I think I tortured everyone. And honestly, I wasn't even in like the fandom. Like the only thing I got into in the fandom was YouTube. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have Tumblr. I didn't get into the depths. I was in the trenches of the Revolutionary War, but I wasn't deep in the trenches like some other people were. I was truly in it for the music. And I would watch interviews and stuff of the cast, and they like would go to the stage door and interact with fans all the time and do performances, and they had Facebook Lives, and they did vlogs, and they did interviews all the time. And these people were very engaging with their fans, which honestly is accredited to its fame. If the core cast can make a connection to the fans, which are blowing their shit up, that only adds to it, because then we get parasocial relationships. Yeah. that? Told you I was a theater kid. That sounded amazing. Parasocial relationships are a core key thing in fandoms, I believe, because it brings the fans closer to the actual pieces of media because they feel close to the people creating that media. And let me tell you, I could go on and 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 on, feminine nom, hit it like rum bum bum bum, get it hot like Papa John, make it go on and on. It's a feminine phenomenon. Anyway, I could go on and on and on and on about parasocial relationships. That shit, crazy. But basically, the cast was so important to the fandom to the extent of this.
You know what it never was? That serious. It was never that serious.
Thinking about in 2016 when Lin-Manuel Miranda had to start having security with him leaving the Hamilton stage door, and I sobbed so hard I couldn't breathe because I was convinced he was going to be assassinated and was destined to die young just like Alexander Hamilton. Crazy mindset to have, because honestly, that's not too far of a stretch. The Hamilton fandom was deep in this stuff and they would believe that. I think for a second they truly thought that this cast were literally the founding fathers of America. Honestly, I feel like I believe that. Like, when you told me Hamilton did not look like Lin-Manuel Miranda, I was like, gagged. But anyway, this cast was important to me. This cast was important to so many people. People would consistently sob at the stage door. The cast would do stuff like this all the time.
Oh, your favorite. Facebook Live. Oh. What's up?
What is this?
Facebook Live?
Weird.
They're really real, you guys. All the people you love, they're really real.
Leslie is really feeding into the parasocial relationships in that video. I want to see if I can find any others. Oh my god. After Daveed Diggs left the musical, he went on Sesame Street and sang the Rubber Ducky song. Hold on. I was obsessed with this video. I could not tell you why.
Rubber Ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber Ducky, I'm awfully fond of you.
Tell me there's not a gun behind that camera. Look at that man's face and tell me there's not a gun behind that camera. Anyway, I was like obsessed with this and I can like, let me read a comment. Oh, the comments are turned off. There's probably a good reason because I remember the comments. Trust me, this was a core memory for me. The comments would be like, this is what Thomas Jefferson is doing now, huh? Or like, this is what Lafayette did during Act 2 when he went back to France. And it's like, no, that is Daveed Diggs, a performer. That's not a founding father. Anyway, it was really funny. I don't even know where that came from, but that was just a core memory for me. So just like the Rubber Ducky video was a core memory to me, there are lots of Hamilton videos from the fandom that spiral the internet that are core memories for lots of people. And this person put a compilation of them together, and I haven't seen all of them. I'm gonna see if any of them were specifically impactful to me, but here's what the standard camera roll of someone in the Hamilton fandom looks like. I love her saying, this one had a chokehold on me, I can't lie, could barely rewatch it. It's like you can't revert. You can't go back to what you were. It's just hard to remember. The founding fathers have PTSD from being in the literal Revolutionary War. I have PTSD from being in the Hamilton fandom.
A Cadillac midnight drive, got the gas pedal leaning back, taking my time. I'm rolling that roof off, letting in sky.
I think that was the most 2016 thing I've ever seen. That was insane.
Come on, brain. Think of things. Come on, brain.
Think of things.
Come on, brain.
We all know that one. Lynn, icon. Hi, this is my Lin-Manuel Miranda impression. Colombia, me encantó, me encantó. Wait, yes, yes, oh my god. Yeah! I sing up to the sky. That's my Lin-Manuel Miranda impression. Anyway, moving on. You might be thinking, why did those videos have a grip on them? It's because of this like parasocial relationship. We thought everything they did was so funny and so cute, as you do in a fandom, but still, I saw this video and they used the perfect word to describe this phenomenon. When I see a person who's new to a fandom start woobifying a real person, I know they'll cringe about it later, but I can't stop them because it's a canon event for everyone in the fandom. Woobifying? I had no idea what that word meant until today. Apparently it's like uwooifying. Sorry, that word brings up traumatic memories. Anyway, it's like uwooifying. So basically like making a real person like a soft boy, like infantilizing them and making them so cutie and like stuff like that, and like rosy cheeks, always blushing and like, oh my god, they're so cute. Everything they do is just so cute, kind of like that. And the thing is, they're doing it about a real person, whether it's the character or not, because the character is a founding father and the real person is an actor on Broadway. There's literally not a right direction to go in this scenario, which I think, again, created the weird phenomenon that was Hamilton. And you know, this was physically present in the way we drew the characters. The Hamilton fandom created its own f***ing art style.
I'm a girl, I don't wanna rich. My only job is very rich. My father has no son, so I'm the one who has the social claim for one. So I'm the oldest and the wittiest and the gossip in New York City is insidious. And Alexander's penniless. It doesn't mean I want really less.
It was the big hair, the big face, and the lines for eyes, but the swoopies at the end. Huge mouth, heart as the tongue. The heart as the tongue was the most crucial part. It had a very distinct art style for a lot of the people who made art for the fandom, and those things were used in animatics. Now, animatics were like always a thing, you know, not everybody's gonna have a finished animation and the time to actually complete a full-fledged animation and post on YouTube, but sometimes they want to get their ideas out with a song and like still script and like draw something that's surrounding it. Animatics have always been, you know, a pretty significant part of fandoms, but I think they really became significant parts of fandoms with the Hamilton fandom, because I'll be honest, that's how I found it. That's what got me in it. I couldn't escape it. For me, there were 3 iconic animators in the fandom. First of all, everyone knows them, everyone loves them. Sin, I believe that's how you say it. They're amazing. They were like the most iconic animator in this like by far. I believe they just graduated art school. Anyway, go show their channel some love. I don't know if they still post content. I think they still do. There was also Zikasat, and there was also Galactabun. Galactabun, your Hamilton animatics. The amount of times I cried to the It's Quiet Uptown Galactabun animatic, I don't want to say online because it's embarrassing. Icons. And Galactabun really helped solidify that Hamilton fan art style that we saw. Like that is Galactabun. Anyway, Zen, I'll show you an animatic from them.
$17.76. New York City. Pardon me, are you wearing Burr? Sir, that depends. Who's asking? Oh, well, sure. Sir, I'm Alexander Hamilton. I'm at your service, sir. I have been looking for you. I'm getting nervous. Sir.
I feel like that one was one of their first ones that really blew up. And from there, the production quality kind of went insane crazy, and animatics were really the core of this fandom. I truly believe they started the trend of animatics being very popular in other fandoms as well. I feel like what the Hamilton fandom did for other fandoms is insane. It's like what Alexander Hamilton did for our country with the financial system he established. It's like the same thing. They hold the same value, obviously. And lastly, another very iconic part of the Hamilton fandom, although I didn't get into it because, again, I was a child, and I'm so glad I didn't get into it, was the fan fictions about founding fathers, obviously. There was Jefferson and Hamilton, there was obviously Eliza and Hamilton, the real life couple, and John Lawrence and Hamilton, and Burr and Hamilton, and Jefferson and Madison, and there was so much. There were ships everywhere, even though they didn't happen, obviously, except John Lawrence and Hamilton. They were definitely into some freaky stuff. But anyway, people would like not only creating fan art of these ships, but also writing fan fictions about these ships. And I could go on and on about the different fan fictions and how wild some of these AUs were, but I think we all know what this is leading up to.
Are you talking about Marie Antoinette?
Yeah.
I heard a thing or two about her. Is a seat taken?
When I first saw this, I was like, huh? What do you mean? And then I remembered there was a creator known as Hive Living on Tumblr, and this was because their blog mainly focused on Hamilton and tips about how to live with HIV and stuff like that, I believe. I'm not completely sure. I don't remember every identity that this person tacked on to them, so I'm going to play a video of someone describing it because I feel like they could describe it more succinctly and well-informed than I. But guys, this right here is insane.
I will try to make this as quick and painless to recount as possible, but this is quite possibly one of the most insane ones ever. So essentially, there was a Tumblr blog called Hive Living, which talked about resources, methods, and generally shared stories of living with HIV, presumably run by two people, Isra and Naj, both of whom were HIV positive. Isra is the only one that really matters. She claimed to be a non-binary Chinese-Pakistani person who was sold into sexual slavery by her parents, who lived in the Xinjiang province of China, but were also rice farmers, which doesn't track because that area is too arid to support rice farms, who was trafficked to, I believe, Turkey, met her wife, fled sexual slavery together, and went to India where she was studying medicine. So Isra, I believe that was her name, also had a very popular Hamilton fanfiction of a 1980s AIDS epidemic AU of John Lawrence and Alexander Hamilton as gay lovers, where Hamilton gets HIV. They're at a high school. It was absurd. It was called The Scale to Blue Sky, and Isra used the fact that she allegedly had HIV as the justification for writing this fic. There had been rumors flying around in the fandom for quite some time that Isra was not who she said she was, because there's a noted history of her just kind of adding identities to her list. So this came to the attention of a user named Dedoxin who reached out to the HIV Living blog to question if any of this had validity to it, and came out to user Dedoxin that not only was Isra not who she said she was, Isra and Naj were the same person, a white American college student living in the Midwest, who, by the way, was not at all HIV positive whatsoever. And just to set the record straight, according to Dedoxin their weird cannibal AU Hamilton mermaid fanfiction was not the reason that they went after HIV Living. It was because they were genuinely afraid that they were hurting people because they had lost a grandparent to HIV. Wild!
Anyway, I don't know if you caught all of that. Thank you to House of McAllister for making that video and having a pretty good description of everything. There's also tons of YouTube videos and other TikToks describing this whole situation. I'm not going to go very in-depth of this because this video is already long enough, but basically this person who had all of these different identities and intersectionality that they fell under wrote and talked about all of this different kinds of trauma and stuff that they had, including having HIV, wrote a Hamilton fanfiction based in the 1980s where they all were suffering from the AIDS crisis, and also wrote a cannibal mermaid Hamilton AU. Make it make sense. Literally, what would the founding fathers say? Also, the person who wrote these fan fictions was just a white girl living in the Midwest in college. Insane. And when this dropped that she wasn't who she said she was, Tumblr burnt to, insane things were happening within this fandom. I feel like that was peak. I feel like that was peak crazy, along with Thomas Jefferson Miku Binder. And this is obviously way above Thomas Jefferson Miku Binder, but still, I just feel like I had to address that because I knew if I didn't address HIV Living, someone would point it out. I feel like the Hamilton fandom got to the point where people were like, okay, well, we're pulling out of this, we're leaving. People would go to different fandoms and, spread their gospel there. And ever since then, I really don't think a fandom has gotten as weird or intense as the Hamilton fandom, just because of the way that the parasocial relationships were formed with the creators who were tied to the media. And all I'm saying is that there are some common threads, including the fact that that was literally based on Hamilton at first. It was a Hamilton roleplay for a little bit, so crazy things happening in fandom culture, guys. I mean, all I'm saying is those two fandoms are incredibly similar. But yeah, I think with that, I covered a lot of what went down in the Hamilton fandom. Obviously, I didn't cover all of it, and obviously I didn't go deep into any of it because guys, there is so much that happened in this fandom within the 3 years that it was really kicking. I hope I educated some of you guys if you guys didn't understand the culture of what this fandom was and what it did for American history and fandom life in general. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. So I hope I didn't traumatize you too much with this video. Thank you guys so much for 50,000. That is genuinely insane. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all the recent love and support. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I love you. Bye. I think this is my favorite cut Hamilton song. Oh God, what? What? Pay your fucking taxes. Hand them over. What? Crazy. Crazy times we live in, huh? Okay, bye.